Hello everybody, welcome back. This is part 2 of Terminator. I'm running the NWN1 original campaign with Harry Dresden Files. So, where did we leave ourselves when we finished up yesterday? Well, as you may remember, we had just got inside the prison through the secret passage in the Tony Brook house. We are about to dive into the prison, and the prison is pretty much a straightforward dungeon crawl. It's full of more of the mobs we've seen outside the escaped prisoners, and honestly, it's just a grinder. There's not a lot of anything of any real worry inside there. There's a couple of sort of enemy sorcerers, which, if you're not careful, they might give you a bit of a headache, but for the most part, you're going to be fine. In which case, it's probably a good idea to adjust our spells accordingly. Okay, so we're not having a huge amount of luck with burning out of these guys, so let's adjust our level 1 spells. I think we ought to be looking more thematically what we're doing with our Harry Dresden Files. So let's throw in some of those nice ice daggers. We've already got things on the sleep, of course, so we're not going to use that. And we won't need protection for the lounge until we get to the end. I'm not totally sure exactly what alone we're dealing with these mobs, but they're probably some form of neutral. Chaotic neutral, I would expect. So the protective line is going to do us a huge amount of good. Let's throw in a couple of those and a couple of persistent flames. Okay. And it looks like we've got the entire those already. Let's step back out of the way. It does look like Diane's not really too much touch of what's going on here. Which, since I'm playing it quite big, is not really there we go. Excellent, that's cool to see. I do seem to be having a little problem with my sound here, so just bear with me 1 second while I fix this. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. I don't know whether or not you were having problems hearing, but I certainly was. There was no sound coming through my headset. Now we're all ready to go. Now, as we were doing, I was adjusting spells before we got so rudely interrupted. I will need resist elements later when I run into those sorcerers, but for the moment, I think I'm probably just better off using the Cloud of Bewilderment. These prisoners tend to hang around in groups, and that's proven very effective so far. Okay, first things first, as always, loot the room. This is all likely to be locked up. That's okay. I've got myself a pixie to deal with that. Okay, that's everything in here. You can probably hear the riot is still going on out there, so I better make sure I'm careful. There'll be a fair few traps lying around inside here, but nothing I can't handle. Okay, very next thing I'm going to need to do is put on my mage armor. There we go. Too hard at work getting rid of all those problems for me before I even find them. Steal all the books. Hey, buddy, I see you. Lurking doesn't work if you tell me you're doing it. All right. Once we go out through this door, we're going to be straight into a big battle. So let's make sure that everybody's got their buffs up. I don't really have very many at the moment, but we're working on it. There we go. Drop Cloud of Bewilderment on everybody. Bang, there we go. Let's see how well that works. Oh, not too bad. Oh, I got myself new. Not paying attention. It's the principal drawback of playing a really squishy character at this level when I'm really not used to playing characters like this. I should probably actually let the henchman do what he's being paid to do, and that's just stand back and let him take everybody else on. That's more like it. At this point, still level 4, I'm not really doing great in terms of survivability, but that's going to change fairly soon. I'm almost certainly going to level up while I'm inside here, and the major benefit to that is once I hit level 5, I'll start picking up my bonus meta magic. Alright, here we go. Ah, yeah, see, that's exactly the kind I think I need to be finding. I might as well learn these. I don't know if I'm ever going to actually use them, but they'll come in handy. I mean, it may seem a little bit out of character thinking of having a character based on Harry Dresden running around learning necromancy spells, but he's actually pretty good at necromancy. He knows all the theory, and if you've read Deadbeat, you'll be more than well aware of exactly the kind of degree at which he can use it. Resurrecting dinosaurs is not exactly child's play, but there's a big difference between knowing the spell and actually using the spell. Stuff some very nice, useful things for change. Yeah, tasty savage fury. I am being kind of lazy at the moment here, just standing back and letting everybody else do the hard work. But hey, I'm a manager. That's what managers do. Okay, we want to learn a huge amount that we don't know from this guy. He's just going to tell us that a lot of people broke out. And we kind of know that already. Go, you can get out of here. We've opened up all these doors, opened the cells, so we can go in there and lose all the corpses, which is pretty gross when you think about it. But I've already been running around playing with plague fires, so I don't really see that a couple of non-plagued corpses is going to make that much difference to my life. And since you picked up the storeroom key, we can go and raid their supplies. Arrows that I don't need. A little more gold, always handy. I mean, you can already see it starting to happen. What I said would happen right when I fly around the first part. You pick up potions so often in this game that playing most of the transmutation buffing spells and things of that nature it's kind of a waste of time. I'm not going to spend valuable spell slots on things like Barkskin when I can simply just take a potion of Barkskin that I found free. Okay, through this door there'll be some more bad guys. Yeah, there they are. That's getting something to think about. You know, for all the fact it does virtually no damage, Toot's actually kicking a lot of ass. Though he be but little, he is fierce, so to speak. Come on, Toot, open the cabinet. Yep. Okay, before very much longer, I'm probably going to need to have to run away and find a shop to dump my gear in because I'm going to hit my encumbrance very soon. But I don't really mind that. If I'm carrying so much that I can't carry it and walk properly, that means I've got a lot of loot to sell. And we're kind of in this for the loot as much as anything else. Okay, when we go through this door here, we're going to end up we're in a very large room full of a lot of mobs and one badass boss. So now is definitely the time to just take a little bit of a rest. So you can't rest for too close to the room, there's too many enemies in there. Let's come down here a little way. There we go. Rest, buff up. Yeah, there's a lot of things up here I'm not going to have to be using. Okay, so let's get that up set up to start with. Dark skin. I think it would be a pretty good idea to make Dalen even stronger. Get some blast down as well. Okay, here we go. Throw some of these guys down here. So what we want. Incapacitate as many as we can. Okay, well, that was pretty well done. The temptation playing an arcane caster is always to go just out and out on damage. And, that has its place, and if you're playing a sorcerer, that's probably the best way to go. But playing a wizard, just using your crowd control and debuff spells is frequently a lot more effective in the early game. But yes, I have got some damage spells, but I can only get a couple of them out at any given time. And instead, I can be doing that, letting somebody else do the hard work. Oh, looks like he's found a few more people to hit. Indeed he has. Let's go down that. Here they all come. Now, I've played this game many, many times through, and I usually have problems in this room because I'm normally playing just as an outright heavy armor, big weapon damage dealer, and I frequently find myself getting killed off because they get overwhelmed. With the wizard, I've barely had to get out of first gear. It's quite surprising. But I mean, I've always known that wizards are incredibly powerful once they get out of the early levels. But with a build like this, it's perfectly powerful as it is. Just when it's got somebody else to handle fighting. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could get red tail. I could probably just go outright and swap. Pull up something like the Panther or a Hellhound, use them instead of the Pixie. I would definitely get more in the way of experience that way because I'd have, I wouldn't have a follower henchman. I'd just have the follower because, as I said before, the more that you take in the way of people in your party, the more the damage you get to your XP whenever you receive any. And maybe a little later, I might do that. Once I've got a little bit more in the way of survivability on the character, I might start looking at doing something like that and not bothering with the henchmen. So yeah, I mean, to illustrate what I was just saying, if I was playing this game and I didn't have the follower and the henchman, and I was playing with just the character alone, which I've done on many occasions, by the time I got to the battle we just had in this room, if I'd hit that battle and I'd finished that battle, I would have leveled up. And I've got to level 5 already. And as you can see, I've still got another 900 or so XP to go before I get there. So by taking all these people in my party, I've hit myself so far with a 900 XP penalty. So, it does build up pretty quickly. Let's just have healing. There we go. Okay, this guy, again, he's not going to tell you a huge amount you don't already know about what's going on in the prison. There's a riot. It's a mess. But he will give you some more information because he knows a little bit more about what's happening. So the head jailer has just gone completely nuts. He stopped torturing people. He seems to have sided with all of the prisoners for whatever reason. So something has driven the head jailer psychotic. It doesn't take a genius to work out that it's got to be one of these creatures that we're looking for that's driven him completely nuts. Hello, everybody. Well, that's okay. There's bound to be things lurking inside here. And well, there we go. He doesn't waste any time, as usual. He's just run off to attack the nearest thing without any thought for something in the way of tactic, strategy, or whether or not we're ready to do that. Go to. And what I actually wanted to do is come down here and help me fight this guy. Well, people, at early levels, sleep is just a fantastic spell. Unfortunately, it kind of becomes pretty much useless after time unless you stick some mathematic bits on it. Never Would You Like to Do has got a much more expanded spell range, so you can take deep slumber, which is basically sleep, but it works on higher level characters, which is just fantastic because you can keep doing this all the way through. There I went, stepped in a trap. It's not actually in any way, shape, or form a particularly deadly trap. It doesn't do any damage, it's just annoying. I'll stick my head in here. There we go. Bingo. Lots of shiny stuff for me. Now, I probably should think about sitting down and having a bit of a rest. But unfortunately, there's so many enemies hanging around at the moment that I don't have much of an option. So I'm just going to have to rely on my henchmen and my wonder sleep. Now, you probably noticed I haven't used the fireball wand yet, but there's a very good reason for that. I know that later on, when we get to the end of this level, there's going to be a big boss, and I want to hang on to that until I see the big boss, if at all possible. Okay, now, I don't particularly want to take on the guys in that room, so I'm just run out here, see if I can pull some of these spells without getting everybody else in there to come out. Throw some more sleep at them. Okay, that's good. There's someone in the room in there that I don't want to face until I have a chance to renew my spells. Well, this is going to be a problem. There we go. Bang. It's time I departed here and went and found myself a shop so I can get rid of all this. Now, I could, if I wanted to, just run out of here and run all the way back to the level above and out to the shop that we were in earlier in the Peninsula District, but since I'm streaming this, nobody wants to have to waste all their time watching that piece of TV, so let's just jump back here and give what we've got to Arabeth. Oh, wow. Her reaction is neutral. She was favourable towards me earlier, so something I've done must have annoyed her. I have no idea what. We can get rid of all this. Most of it. Wait, I think that again. Most of this is pretty much dead weight. Now, as you've seen, I haven't sold those because you can only sell arrows, bullets, and bolts in batches of 100. So you're forever carrying these things around. And they're not really worth that much either, so I'm not entirely sure why I bought that, but, you know, I'm tidy. I don't like dumping these things on the ground. Gotta be environmentally conscious. Go see vintage, can't use that, so let's get rid of it. Don't want the gloves of spellcraft. Don't want those. I've got quite a lot of these. I mean, obviously, the link that you get depends on your character class. The game gears it towards what you might want. I'm not going to bother with selling gloves of discipline yet. I might actually want to hang on to those for a while. I'll get rid of those belts. I might justify having them. So that's a bit more. Where did my dagger go? There it is. Don't need the club. Now I've got the dagger. There we go. That's a lot more about. Let's see what we're doing here. No, really, I should consider going and picking myself up a magic bag at this point because I'm likely to get a lot more in the way of loot that's going to slow me down. But I'm still hanging on. I want to get more decent equipment for myself. I really need to get a decent pair of boots. And I can't use my boots, which is a real shame. But there's boots of striding and boots of hardness. I'd really like to get all boots of hardness, but they're going to cost me a lot more. Okay, so let's have a quick rest. I'm getting very close to leveling up now. Now, I should probably consider taking a lesser dispel. And I know we're going to be facing down some magic users fairly soon. But hoping that won't be necessary. We might have to take them on without using it. So that's both up. There we go. Okay, let's continue. There we go. Toot, open the door. Thank you very much. Okay, well, we don't want to go downstairs yet. We've still got a fair bit to do on this level and to clear out all the rest of these mobs, and we definitely want to loot everything inside the room. Okay, well, I've got no problem with dealing with these guys. Let's just use our one to sleep. There we go. Not as effective as it has been, but it still helps. There's actually nothing really worth looking about back here. This is a bit of a shame, but I'll take the experience any way I can get it. Onwards. More traps? No trap that time. Oh, now what are you doing down here? It looks like you still managed to pull people out of the room, which is what I was trying to avoid. Still, he's done all that without activating the nasty mob in the middle of the room, so keep going on. We've leveled up and we are now a level 5 wizard. It's starting to go in our favour. Okay, as you can see, we've been right away around the outside. Next stop is the centre of that room there. Okay, that's level. Just say before we do that. Okay, as always, we're going to want to take some concentration. For example, take some spellcraft. I'm going to take another point of discipline. Probably keep taking the force, since that's working out in my favour as well. I'll grab another point of heal and I will keep those 2 points until the next level where I can spend them. Okay, so we're now level 5 wizard. At level 5, I get to pick a meta magic feat, as you can see. Obviously, it's going to depend on what I want to do how to play the game. I'm not taking any crafting skills. I've never in 20 years used any crafting skills in this game. I never really see the reason why I want to. So, brew potion, craft wand. It also makes no sense about how it works in this game. Yes, it costs gold to make things, fair enough, but it costs experience. Which I'm a wizard. So, I'm a wizard. I make a wand and I put spells into it, and that makes me less experienced. I do not see the logic behind that at all. However, there are some more useful things. Steel spell is a funny one, and I may at some point consider taking that because it will allow me to cast spells while wearing armor. but it will cost me another feat in order to be able to buy the ability to wear the armor. And so I'm very wary about just grabbing that just because, yes, I'll have more protection, but it eats up another feat, and I'm not prepared to waste a feat on that at this point. The other option is to cross-class and take a level in fighter or a level in barbarian or something. I really don't want to go down that road with this. I'm trying to stay as pure as possible, at least until I get 20 levels under my belt. After that, we'll see how it goes. I've never played an Epic Wizard. I'm not entirely sure how far I'm going to get. Certainly in the original campaign, I won't get any further than about level 18, I would imagine. Yeah, if I'm enjoying this, I might go on and play the two expansions, and we'll see what happens then. Spell focus is, it's a great skill. It makes it even harder for people to avoid your spells, and once you've taken it, you can then take arcane defense, so you become better at resisting other people's spells. Always handy. But there's a lot of other things that I could be doing with this. A power spell, okay, all effects increase by 50%. It's a good spell. I'm not going to complain about that at all. It's very handy. The same goes for maximize spell. The drawback is that these are going to eat up my high level spell slots. So while it would be very nice to be able to take something like a direct damage spell that is doing a great deal more damage than it would normally, it's also eating up the high level spell slots, which I'm definitely going to need for other things. On the other hand, however, great spell penetration bang, even better damage against others. I will be taking that at some point, but not just yet. Silent spell. There's very few things in this game that are ever going to definitely, so I'm not too bothered about wasting feet on that. Extend spell, however, is an absolute must, because that will make sure that all of your buffing abilities last a great deal longer. Double bang. It's a shame that they haven't taken the logical conclusion, because certainly in D&D 3.5 and then in NWN1 2, they included persistent spell, which extend spell would have worked. Means you can have spells on you that last forever until you rest and break them. Okay, there's a very limited number of those that you could use because the spell slots they occupy are very high, but it would have been handy. Still, extend spell doubles duration, but it only takes the spell slot one level higher. I'm definitely going to take that. It's extremely useful. And here we have a list of very nice spells. Okay, find traps. Not really much use while I'm using Pixie. Fireball. Yeah, it's definitely got its place. I'm tempted by that. Same with Flame Arrow. Although, as mentioned in the past, evocation is not Harry's strong suit. That said, Fireball is not a subtle spell, so it's very much in keeping with the way he likes to throw fire around, as opposed to the far more precise nature of using Flame Arrow. Gust of Wind, well, he uses Gust of Wind a lot. He's always throwing wind spells around, but it works entirely differently in the game. So I'll give that consideration. I'm not sure I'm going to grab that. Haste is always great, of course. Lightning Bolt, likewise. Magic Circle against the line, also very useful. All of these have got distinct possibilities. However, I'm going to be taking Stinging Cloud. Very much the same kind of thing as Slide of a Ball, but different. And extremely handy. Protection elements, also very tempting. So I think at this point, I'm going to keep going down the route that I have been going so far. Less direct damage, more utility. So I have a feeling that will be a lot of things to talk. I'm going to be starting to run into things that'll do elemental damage fairly soon, so I want the best protection against that I can get. Of course, we're keeping Toot. There we go. And we can have an update of the spellbook. As you can see, my extended spells here. I'm going to throw in 2 of those and 1 protection from elements. Okay. Don't want to change anything else. I may give some consideration to changing what I've got in at level 2. That's actually not a bad idea. No, I've got extend spell. Shield becomes a much more viable thing to say. Extended sleep would also be extremely useful under circumstances, but nothing is getting up quickly enough to warrant that. Okay. I think we're ready to take on whatever the world has in store for us. Of course, we're going to need to rest to let those small changes take effect. There we go. Okay, off we go. Time to pop up. We want mage armor, of course. Flame weapon. There we go. Protection from elements. Don't mind if I do. And we're going to take our extended shield as well. Okay. We can't use the same kind of bonus twice, but we've still managed to get an extra 3 points of armor from using shield, so I'm not going to complain about that. Now, we have to know that in here, we've got these guys. And in there's a sorcerer. There he is. He thinks he's being extremely clever, but as long as I keep him in my stinking cloud, he may not be able to do it. Whereas I can certainly see him. Problem is, I don't see anybody very much about it. Protection from elements. Very useful. Had no effects on me. But somebody just killed Suit, which is a great shame. And he's obviously got elemental stuff up as well. Bigger than a stinking cloud. It looks like our friend Diamond do a bit of a heal there. As indeed could I. So yeah, I'm going head to head with an arcane caster here, and it's not going particularly well because I can't get through his barriers and he can't get through mine. There we go. If I had had somebody else along to do the hitting for me, that would have taken a great deal longer. We were both very well defended, which was enormously convenient. Ring of Insight will not increase my law, which at the moment I'm not especially worried about. So what's left? Well, looting the room, basically. But also, if you pull this lever right here, yoink, it'll open the cells around you and you can loot those as well. So we got a lot more corpses to defile. How much fun that is. No need to throw all these boxes for us. I'll keep you busy. Another set of gloves of discipline by the look of it. Yeah, plus 6, plus 3, so yes, greater gloves of discipline. Well, I'll be hanging on to those. Plus 6 discipline is probably going to save my life at some point. Alright, okay. Where we actually need to go next is down there. Well, first of all, I want to loot all the bodies. So we'll just run out here and skirt around here. There we go. And you can see I can now get to all these boxes. You probably won't have anything of any major value on them, but sometimes you can get lucky. It does seem that we're all running very slowly right at the start of the game. Once you get used to playing the game, it's got some kind of permanent haste effect on you. It becomes very slow when it's missing. There's quite a few items that will give you that effect. With extend spell and haste, higher levels, I'll be able to give myself a very long extended haste as well. Well, there's nothing really outstanding coming out of these boxes, but I shouldn't really have expected anything else. I mean, they're prisoners, or guards, more likely guards, in a pretty crappy prison. They're not going to be running around with huge amounts of money and magic items, let's face it. How's wisdom left? Well, might as well learn that while since I'm here. Well, arcane spells that I do not want. Okay, that's all those bodies looted. Next step, we go downstairs. So it would be a very good idea to have a quick rest before we do that. But before I do that, just once my spell book. I'd very much like to get less of the spell out here. There's likely to be more of those sorcerers around, and it would be a very good idea if I had something to be able to strip away their resistances next time I run into one. There we go. Prison level 2. Same as always, let's buff up a bit. Okay, I'm not going to throw a shield until I need it. Although it's extended, it still does have a limited lifespan compared to other spells I've got. So I only want to use it when I absolutely have to. Oh, someone is coming, and he apparently wants to carve me up. Doesn't sound too friendly. We're now at the stage where wasting spells on little groups like that is pretty much a pointless thing to do. I've got a henchman who can take them down in one hit, so I'm not going to waste my valuable magic supplies on dealing with somebody like that. I see here, you've got marks like that lying around the floor. That means that there are definitely traps in this prison. That's two killing yet another person. Let's see, damage in any way increased. Nope, he's still doing a maximum of 3 damage. He's just doing it at exactly the right moment. Okay, isn't anybody here we need to worry about? Nope, but there is indeed a trap which Toot has, true to form, managed to locate. I can start using some more of the scrolls, I think. It's not like having a bit, I'm not using it. The downside to this particular level is it is a bit of a maze. Spend a lot of time running around, going back and forwards, and not really getting anywhere. Got a stinking cloud up here. Yeah, that's good. And rather remove the trap, Toot successfully managed to set it up on himself. Well, that wasn't very clever. Okay, there's a couple of rooms in here with these doors like that. They're actually quite hard to open because the position of the limit there is very inconvenient to actually get to work. It's a problem that crops up in several different areas throughout this game. This particular account is very good. So it looks, it knows what I want to do, but it just can't get to the right decision to activate it. Oh, and here's somebody coming to pay a visit. Didn't do them very much good, though. Okay, well, two managed to unlock the door anyway. That was good. I was just a guard dog in there, but at this point, the guard dogs are giving quite good experience, so I didn't want to run off and leave that one behind. Come back down here, make sure I'm actually getting through, coming up in every room. Right, so she's doing that. I'm just going up to balance. I know somewhere down here there's going to be some more sorcerers. Okay, more stuff for you to do. I seem to recall there's traps around here, so I'm very much likely to locate and remove. Although it's possible the ones I'm picking up could be in a different room. Box is safe enough. See, it looks like we do with some healing. Okay, but anyway, I do that by talking to it. Sure, there is a talk ability. No, I possess it, but I can't talk to him the same way that I can other things. So I'll just have to give him some straightforward normal healing. Yep, and probably something else. Well, oh, that's not having much of an effect. He's all grown up heels. Bigger potions now. Okay, there we go. Onwards and upwards. Okay, there's our escaped sorcerer. What I want to do is get through here. There is some throw spells at me. So I am protected. And having conveniently stripped him of his medical protection, we kick his ass. Now that was just objectionable. And I timed that badly. That did rather look like I stripped myself my medical protections at the same time as I did his. Very sensible. He's killed suit again. I wish he would stop doing that. It's really antisocial. Okay, his magic is gone. I seem to be destined to be collateral damage in this particular encounter. Well, that was just annoying. So I think it's my time I could keep him alive. Well, that was pretty damn pathetic, all told. I absolutely need to get a lot more in the way of ways of dealing with arcane spellcasters. Well, Toots, you were keeping your eye open for there, what? Hmm. Still, with him out of the way, I could do with a lot more of the way of lots of spells, however, so don't look like it's time to sit down and have a bit of a rest again. Off you go to get to work. We go back in here. Okay, okay. I stagger was not bad at all there, not bad at all. Traps that I won't be able to set. Yet more gloves. Or discipline. I can only presume that the algorithm of the game has looked at my character to see you have the discipline skill, therefore I'm going to give you these gloves to boost it. Because I would not normally expect a wizard or any arcane spellcaster to be receiving gloves discipline otherwise. Okay, but that trap didn't go off when I activated it. That was a bit strange, so. Yeah, more boots. Okay, this may be the route that has a big trap in the middle. Hey, booze. Somehow I don't think it's going to be up to the standard of Max, though. It looks like we've got us. Yeah, we've got us another one of these here. Which is not going to lead to a guard dog, that leads to this big corridor here. And down that way is the way to the bottom level where the boss is, but I don't want to go down there just yet. What I want to do is go out the way a little bit. Let's rest up and restore our spells. And having done that, we're going back this way. There we go. Nothing. These individual escape prisoners are absolutely no problem at all. And if I was just facing them, I wouldn't be too worried about needing a henchman with me. I was not quite ready to take up the top of it. Very nicely done. The suit is really going for it. He seems to have no conception of his own mortality. Oh, here comes another one. And down here, there's another guard dog. And the door worked this time, that's right. Well, we're gaining XP at a pretty steady and consistent rate at the moment. Almost halfway to our next level. Alright, strap. Alright, we need to go back to the brothel if I'm going to go sell any of those. Okay, just down here on the side here. There we go, that's that trap right there. We did not want to step on that trap. What did I just say? I swear I must be talking to myself. Just take this fellow out of action. That's 40 XP, don't mind if I do. But honestly, the henchmen in this have got absolutely no conception about safety. You can see the trappers there, and just went straight for it anyway. Come on. Now he's not moving at all. I just wanted to get out of the way so I can get all the meat. Now that's very nice. Acid fog already. Level 6 spell. That's what I am definitely going to be hanging on to. So when I get level 6 spells, I'll be able to learn that one for free rather than just wasting it on that one shot combat. Okay, well, this is a couple of amulets. That's a big amulet. Well, there we go. Yeah, that's a real amulet, which I am now going to wear, as opposed to the other amulet I picked up, which is that one there. Natural armor. Well, that's not much use to me since I'm going to be using shield a bit. Now, I happen to know that just down here, we're going to be running into a really nasty mob. You might recall way back when we first came down into the prison, we spoke to the guard, and he told us that the jailer was working with all of those escaped prisoners, and he had one particular sidekick. Well, the guy down there is his sidekick, and he is really tough. So before we go anywhere near him, we're going to want to have major buffing. Okay, I would expect that we're probably going to die a couple of times trying to get past this guy, which is not that guy. Straight through the trap again. There he is. Curtain. Right. Do not want to run into that guy unless we absolutely have to. So we're going to keep out of his way if we can. If we can keep him knocked out with debuffs, that would be ideal. Let's see. A couple of these on it. Okay, well, he did say that he wanted to talk to us. And what he's going to tell us is what we already know. That the head jailer is behind all this and something weird has happened to him. And then once he's told you that, you just end up fighting him more anyway, so I have no problem with just being taken straight out. Actually saves us a bit of time. And we'll just empty these things here. And we're going to do a little bit of shifting around of how we're approaching the game. Because when we go downstairs, we're going to be facing the end-level boss, which is indeed one of the escape creatures. And this particular escape creature has a great deal of damage reduction and resistance. In fact, unless you're toting around pretty heavy duty elemental damage, you may not be able to hurt it at all. Fortunately, we've got a hefty fighter here who is in fact handing out elemental damage. Because I set his weapon on fire, which is exactly what you need to do with this guy. But you also need a few other things. None of these are of any immediate use against him, unfortunately. Flame weapon, well, we've already got that. Shield. The dispel magics, I can't actually remember whether or not dispel magic will do anything on this thing. For the moment, I'm going to take some acid arrow instead. because I know that will affect it. The persistent blade, you might think would be not a great deal of use, but it does actually have some damage bypassing abilities and some damage resistance of its own. So it actually would probably not be a bad thing to take. And there's a fairly good chance we're going to need to use more than one of it. The fact I go on for a little while. How much damage are we getting out of Ice Dagger? 1d4 per level, up to 5d4. Well, we're doing maximum damage to that 5d4. How about the rest of these things? Also 5d4. And that's doing 1d4 plus 1. So that's doing 3d4 plus 3. So I think we're better off sticking with our Ice Dagger for the moment. Okay, let's just recharge the batteries. Right, next thing we need to do, again, is just get our box on. Actually, I think I should have something else I can use in here, which I can keep in. Protection for alignment. We definitely want to have protection from evil. I probably should use that, haven't I? All right, that's going to take this thing on. Now, the first thing we're going to notice when we get down here, as you can see, there's the head jailer. He's got all these guards around him as well. And these guards are not currently hostile. That's because they are completely brainwashed. And if you kill the head jailer, the creature inside him will just jump into one of these guards that takes place. So what you need to do first, before you take him on, is get rid of these guards by telling them to run away, which they will do. You can do that quite safely while the rest of your guys are busy fighting. Now, come on. Oh, come on. You need to run away. I'm trying to save your life, dude. Thank you. Now, as you can see, they've already killed the head jailer. And the intellect devourer here that was inside him ran into that guard there and possessed him. That's no dead, so it's got nothing else to do but fight the rest of us. Which it will attempt to. But before I do anything else to it, let's go check. Right, okay. It does actually have damage resistance against fire, which I didn't know, and that's going to make things a little bit tricky for us. So I keep on throwing elemental damage at it at the moment. There we go. Okay. Now I'm pretty much already out of useful spells. But fortunately, I still have my rod. And I have the one of negative energy, which will actually do some damage. But it's going to be a bit of a grind. It's the fairly standard thing of playing a wizard at this level. My spells are still pretty limited in how many I can carry. So while I was able to get him down to like 50% health without too much of an issue, getting any further is proving to be a bit of a stress. Fortunately, Dalen is actually strong enough to be doing some damage plus damage reduction. The other option for dealing with this particular beast would be to ditch Dalen completely, just get rid of him, and bring down Bodyknock, who is the sorcerer, who will have elemental damage spells as well. There we go, we found our first item, our first ingredient for cure of wailing death, the brain of an intellect devourer. I mean, it's a little bit harsh. I mean, intellect devourers, okay, they're nasty creatures, horrible, evil things. But at the same time, we've had to kill a sentient creature to basically cannibalize it into making a cure for a plague. And under those circumstances, you can understand why the creature is pretty pissed off about that. Obviously, Toots got taken out during the fight, but that's no problem. Some useful stuff. Oh, yeah, we're less than 1,000 points away from leveling up now, which is nice. And hopefully we'll find something else in this room that's quite tasty. But as far as the Peninsula District goes, it's all over now, apart from handing in a couple of quests. Okay, none of the looting here has been inspiring so far. And another useless trap. Well, as far as I can see, we have done absolutely everything we could possibly want to do while we're inside this prison. And I heartily suggest that we get the hell out of here. Well, I could use the Hearthstone here, my Stone of Recall. Hearthstone takes a long day. I could use the Stone of Recall and head straight back to the temple, but I would still have to come all the way back into the Central Peninsula District anyway, because I still have to go and hand a couple of quests. As you will remember, that woman in the militia asked us to go and sort out the problem in the prison, and she did say that she would pay us if we could do it. And she, like, sternly refused to give us any payment up front, which means that she owes me some cash, and I have every intention of collecting on it. But since she's on the other side of the Peninsula District, it's kind of like 6 of one, half does the other, with regards to whether or not I use the Stone of Recall and then have to run all the way through 2 districts, or whether I just run straight through the prison and then through the district. Either way, I'm going to be doing a lot of running, so I might as well just get on with it. I was quite surprised that the battle with the Insect Devourer went as well as it did. In my experience, I have a tendency to have a real struggle with that battle. But as like I've said before many times, I normally play big characters, big weapons, do a lot of punching and hitting things. As a result of which, they're just trying to defeat it based on plain might, and plain might against a character or a monster with damage reduction is always going to be a bit of a grind. It seems that against a character wielding a lot of elemental damage like a wizard, it is no problem at all. Go. Okay. Can have a word with this lady over here. It had a pretty big effect on everyone in there as well, my dear. But I'm pleased to say that we have now defeated the monster. Wait the music converts. There we go. So, well, she's not going to give me any more than she said. She's a little bit on the mean side. Never mind. We still got 300 gold pieces and a chunk of XP. I should have had a chunk of XP. No, we didn't get a chunk of XP. Never mind. I'm quite happy with the gold. Thank you very much. And since we are in the area, we might as well go and divest ourselves of all the loot we're carrying. Except we probably won't be selling to him. He apparently is unfavourable towards us. If someone is unfavourable towards you, you won't get as good a price as someone who is favourable. So let's go running back to the city core of the temple. Because there should be somebody there we want to talk to. And we need to go to the brothel anyway because we have to sell all these traps. Now, all around the city core, you'll find people like this hanging around by fire saying they've been chased out of their homes. What you can do is that each time you clear one of the districts, you can go and have a word with these people and they'll go home. I don't think you get anything for it, but it's a nice thing to do, which is exactly the kind of thing that Harry would do. Right. He's favourable. He likes us. We'll get a decent price for this guy. So we'll get rid of those first. Get rid of that. And the crossbow that I do actually want. I'm not bothered about that. I'm not sure I can use the scrolls of restoration. I think I'll get rid of that as well, since I've got better spells than that already. The scrolls of restoration are arcane. I'm not sure if I can just read them off the scroll and cast them. We're going to keep those. Get some more of these. I'm going to get rid of the amulet of will. I bore that just in case the intellect devourer tried to, well, devour my intellect, but it didn't go anywhere near me, so I don't actually need that anymore. All of the rest of this is still pretty useful, so I'll hang on to that. Maybe I can use that, but I'll hang on to it just in case. Right, everything else I can sell has indeed been sold. There are some quite nice little things here. They're not so much use for me. But for other classes, they are very handy. Okay, so we've now dealt with that problem. The only thing we've got left to do now is go back and tell them that we found the brain. I found the brain. And I'm very glad that I have a brain here because the way they've been behaving, clearly my sidekicks do not. Okay, well, remember she asked us earlier on to check out Peninsula. Makes me a little more good, and she can now wander off. Goodbye. Yep, that sounds like we got some good news for her. Well, I got 150 experience points for that, which honestly is pretty lame. I was getting more for killing dogs. Yeah, they have them. Well, at this point, I could tell her that I don't need the gold, and I'll probably get more good, but I really do need the gold. If you try and get more out of her, she's just going to say no, so let's just take the gold and run with it. I don't want to talk to her about any of those people. Right, how does she feel about Fantic? Well, we've already established that she and Fantic are at it like knives. 6,434 gold. Let's go and have a look. In fact, before I go anywhere else, let's have a rejig of spells and rest. Now, I know the next place I'm going to be going to is the Beggar's Nest. Well, the Beggar's Nest is infested with undead. And the problem with undead is that they have some unfortunate tricks, including the unpleasant ability to avoid mind affecting spells because they don't have any mind. Unfortunate and not very helpful. So my Cloud of Bewilderment and my Stinking Cloud are going to be of no effect against them whatsoever. In which case, I should probably rejig my spells a little bit. Well, I'm going to take Flame Weapon again. Honestly, there's not a huge amount more that I can do against undead with these particular sets of spells. So we'll take another Flame Weapon and Protection of Elements. Go. Won't use that anymore. However, Protection for Alignment, definitely want that. Those things are evil. I think I'll drop the shield until I'm used against the boss. Take some electric loops. Back up that one. I'll keep mage armor. Uh, since my stagger will be late, I'll do that. Now I really need to sort out where I've got my spells arranged here. Let's sort out my footpath because they are a bit of a mess now. Let's just strip it all out, rebuild it. Okay, so it's my negative energy ray. There's that. But I'm going to put this down here now. I'm going to use common sense. I'm not going to fire that at any of dead because all that will do is heal them. And the wand of sleep probably won't affect the undead, but there might be some other things there that might help. There's some animal things you run across, like a lot of spiders. So that might help us out there. Restoration, yeah, well, if I'm going to get undead, I will be very glad I've got that. So, take our booking spells. I really don't need an extended version of this first thing. It lasts about a level up here, so I don't want to that. I'm going to throw in a little electric loop in there. Okay. Now, so sit down. Now, so far, our friend Dale here has actually been extremely useful. Well, where we're going next, he is going to be a very little help to us. So let's tell him that he can hang around here. We don't need a moment. Because we're going in to fight a whole load of undead, it would be a very sensible idea for us to go and pick up the elf, who is a cleric. But before we do so, I'm going to go and have a word with Bard. I just want to see whether or not what we picked up that celestial elixir, whether or not she'll take it off me now. So I'm going to play her, and we can talk to her. There's a lot of options in these conversations, and honestly, it makes very little difference. You can just fly through them. And each level that you get, she'll tell you a little bit more. But I'm not high enough level yet for her to tell me the last part. So we'll leave her here for the moment. And hopefully, when I next level up, I can come back and I can talk to her about the rest of the story. And she will give me something nice in exchange for the elixir. But the one we really want today is this hilarious and utterly clumsy elf. Right, so we've got her to hang around with us. Let's just modify her tactics a bit. I don't want her to open any locked chests because she can't. If I drop her people help, I can help me. I'll do for now. Let's just pick the first part of the story. The item that she wants. I will get at the very end of the first chapter, so I'm in no particular hurry to worry about that. But now we have ourselves a healer, which is always useful. But when we're going up against undead, we want cleric because, of course, you can turn undead and wipe them out in one big bang. This is exactly the kind of thing we need when we're going to a beggar's nest. But before we jump in there, I'd just like to go and have a look here. I think the best he gives later. I would like to just have a quick look at his equipment. Boots of hardiness, +1. Well, an extra dotted constitution isn't really actually going to do me very much good, so I don't think I'll bother with that. Let's see what we've got here. She doesn't like me. Okay, so we still need 3,500 before we're going to be able to get the adventurers row. That would be handy, but I'm saving up. I suppose I could blow some more of my gold on some of these spells. Fatten up my spell a little, but I'm most to go blowing it up that degree at this point. Resistance, saving throws. Well, that's not much use to us at this point in time, as it won't give us an extra +1 modifier. However, I think I'm going to change this outfit because it really isn't appropriate for the character. So let's get rid of that generic wizard's robe there. Can't afford battle robe at this point. But we can afford necromancer's robe. And of course, the reason I'm buying the necromancer's robe is not because I'm a necromancer. In fact, I've never attempted to pronounce anybody's neck, as far as I'm aware. But the outfit is far more appropriate for the character of Harry Dresden. So, it's not a duster, but it's black, so that's a step in the right direction. The necklace is, in fact, a silver pentacle, but it is a necklace, so it's as close as we're going to get at this point, I think. Okay, so next port of call is Beggar's Nest. It is just down here. Oh, there we go. So I think this would be a good place to stop for the moment. If you've enjoyed, please do subscribe. You can also follow the rest of my videos on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel will be found in the about information of my profile. You can find that, go there, like and subscribe, and keep you up to date with everything I'm up to. This is the Erminator signing off. Have a very fun night, everybody. Ta-ta for now.